I'm gonna tell you what happened, but I need your like and your subscription. Help me.
I can't say exactly when I began to lose my mind. Perhaps it was during those endless nights of work, under the trembling light of the hotel's oil lamp. Or maybe it started earlier, when the whisper began. 2 years ago, I was hired as the caretaker of the old Meridian Hotel, an abandoned building on the hill above the city. The owner, an elderly man with a sickly appearance, said he wanted to restore the place and turn it into a historical museum. But the renovations never began. My task was simple: watch the building at night, prevent intrusions, and, if possible, do not open the door to room 313. The warning seemed like a whim. The room was sealed shut, its number corroded by rust. The corridor leading to it was always colder than the rest of the building. There was something in the air there, thick, almost tangible, as if the darkness itself had weight. During the first few weeks, I slept in the main hall, near the broken fireplace. The windows creaked, and the wind slipped through the cracks like a human moan. I grew used to the sounds, or so I thought. But on the third night of October, something different happened. Around 3 a.m, I heard footsteps coming from the third floor. Slow, dragging steps, as if someone were sliding their feet across the wooden floor. I climbed the stairs with my lantern in hand, each step creaking like tired bones. The footsteps stopped the moment I reached the corridor.
The wind had died. The silence was so deep I could hear the rush of blood in my ears. That's when I noticed the seal on the door of room 313 had been torn. I felt the air shift. A stench of mold and iron filled the corridor, and a chill ran down my spine. The doorknob turned by itself, as if someone on the other side were testing the lock. I should have fled, but curiosity, that human curse, kept me there. I pressed my ear against the wood and heard a faint sound, almost a whisper. "Let me see the night!" I stumbled back, terrified. The words scraped the inside of my skull, as if they hadn't been spoken aloud, but thought inside my head. I spent the rest of the night sitting in the corridor, watching the door, and I swear, by all that is unholy, I saw the shadow of bare feet moving beneath the crack at the bottom of it. The next night, I nailed the door shut and piled furniture against it. But at exactly midnight, the lights began to flicker. The clock in the lobby stopped at 3:13 a.m., and from upstairs came the sound of something scratching the walls. I felt compelled to climb, not as someone deciding to, but as someone being called. When I reached the corridor, I realized something even more horrifying. All the doors were open, all of them, except 313.
The wood seemed to breathe. The scratching came from inside. And there was a voice now, clearer, feminine, sweet and broken, repeating, "Open the window. I need to see the night." I don't know what possessed me then. Pity, perhaps, or madness. I removed the furniture, pried out the nails with trembling hands, and opened the door. A stench of rot hit me like a blow. The room was covered in dust, the wallpaper peeling, and in the corner, beside a boarded-up window, was a rocking chair. It moved on its own, slow, rhythmic. And there, sitting in the chair, was an old woman in a dark dress, her skin pale as wax. Her face, however, was indistinct, a blur of shadows, as if the light refused to touch her. Her eyes did not exist, only black cavities from which something thick and inky dripped. She turned her head toward me and smiled. "You heard my whisper," she said, almost in relief. "Now you can set me free." The voice came from everywhere at once. The walls trembled and the floor throbbed beneath my feet. The window began to rattle, the boards cracking, one by one. When the last one broke, a freezing wind burst into the room, and with it a liquid darkness. I felt hands grab me, dozens of them, rising from the floor, the walls, the ceiling. The old woman stood, her body twisting, stretching, her bones snapping like ancient wood. She leaned over me, her face now clear. It was my own, aged and rotting, screaming in silence. I woke up in the lobby at dawn. The lantern lay shattered beside me. The stairs were covered in mud. The clock read 3:13. Room 313 was sealed again. But above the door, something new had appeared. A window, small, round, and behind it, someone was watching. When I drew closer, I saw my own reflection, blinking. And for an instant, I saw the old woman smiling inside my eyes. I no longer work at the Meridian Hotel. In fact, the building was demolished months ago. But sometimes, late at night, when the wind howls through my apartment, I hear that same whisper echoing through the windows. "Let me see the night." And if I look in the mirror at that moment, I see the window, always open.